there's only so much we can predict a tree's going to do. We are out doing the annual tree safety survey, and we're looking at the trees that are on either side of the trail to see if any of them present any hazards at all. Trees that are dead maybe, are leaning, maybe they've got fungus, holes in their bark, rot, anything where it looks like it might drop a branch or maybe fall onto the trail. We've got a legal, ethical and moral duty to make sure that our trails are safe. We've encouraged people to come here to do recreation here, and so we've got a duty to make sure that they're safe places as much as reasonably practical when there's so many trees and there's only so much we can predict a tree's going to do. We've got the car parks down at the visitor centres, and whilst I've not seen it myself, I've heard of other car parks that have experienced trees on cars, which is why the car parks we actually inspect more than once a year. That all feeds into kind of why we close those car parks before we expect those larger kind of wind events to protect against that risk. We're looking out for the weather warnings. If there's high winds, obviously that's a risk, so we don't want to encourage people to come out in those sort of conditions. And we'll also look at things like which direction it's coming from. The trees in this area are used to south and westerly kind of winds, so they're much more resilient when the wind goes in that direction. If the wind's coming from the north or the east, much more likely to see trees coming down because they're just not grown in a way that's used to that weather. If it's in full leaf, so like in spring, autumn, summer, then those leaves kind of act as a bit like a wind sail, so it means that the trees experience a lot more force than when they're bare of leaves and the wind just kind of travels in between the branches. After a storm, some trees or branches might have come down, so before we reopen the site, we go around and we check if there's anything that's dangerous or if there's trees that are maybe leaning. And we're just kind of like making a quick check that the spaces that people want to go to are safe and accessible. So I want to have a closer look at this tree just here. It's leaning over the path, splits in two at the base, so water could be getting in between there. It doesn't look very alive, and it's got loads of ivy on it. So you can see on here, it's missing this big chunk of bark just here, all the way down into that crack, so water's going to be getting in. This bit here is not going to be as strong, so that's going to mean that this whole side here could easily snap off onto the trail there. And all of this wood, it's so soft, I can just like peel it off with my fingernails. This particular trail is very busy, and that means that there's a greater chance that somebody could be underneath this one if it fell. We will put that on our list of trees that need to be looked at by a professional and get cut down to keep the path safe. Cool, so I put down a rowan, I'll describe it. So, standing dead, covered in ivy, splits at the base. So yeah, that's it. With climate change, we're expecting more extreme weather, more of those storms that we thought of as like once in a lifetime being a more regular occurrence. And obviously with that comes more risk of more trees coming down and the need to close more often if we're experiencing more winds above those points where we're like, no, we need to close those car parks.